The bass thumped through my chest as I watched my wife Lucy climb onto another man's shoulders in the middle of the pit nightclub. The crowd cheered as she grabbed the microphone from the DJ booth and shouted over the music, "You're taller and better than my boyfriend." She pointed directly at me, standing frozen by the bar with a half-empty beer in my hand. Mark Fellows, the smug tech entrepreneur she was straddling, grinned up at her like he'd just won the lottery, which, considering Lucy's looks and my bank account, maybe he had. "Who knew my dignity could be measured in centimeters?" I muttered, setting down my beer and walking toward the exit. The crowd parted like I had some contagious disease, their laughter following me out into the cold October night. "My name's Jake Morrison, and I run a failing IT repair shop called Morrison Tech Solutions." The solutions part is optimistic. Most days I'm just trying to solve how to keep the lights on. Lucy works as a PR executive at Sterling Communications, handling what she calls customer experience optimization. Tonight, apparently, she was optimizing someone else's experience. I drove home to our cramped apartment in silence, my mind racing. 3 years of marriage, 5 years together total, and this was how it ended, with her literally on top of another man announcing my inadequacy to a room full of strangers. But I wasn't just angry, I was curious. See, when you spend your days fixing other people's tech problems, you develop certain skills that most people don't think about when they're busy humiliating their spouses in public. Back home, I fired up my laptop. Lucy had left her phone charging on the kitchen counter. She always did after a night out, too drunk to remember to take it to bed. I'd set up our home network years ago, including backing up both our phones to the same cloud storage. For security, I'd told her, for convenience. Tonight, it was for revenge. I cracked her phone's backup in about 20 minutes. Lucy had never been great with passwords. She used the same one for everything, our wedding date with her initials. Romantic, really. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. What I found in her messages made my stomach drop through the floor. Lucy to Mark. "Jake's working late again. Come over?" Mark to Lucy. "Your husband's a loser. You deserve better." Lucy to Mark. "I know, baby. Soon." But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the group chat called Poor Jake that included Lucy, Mark, and my own brother Tom. Tom. "He has no idea." Lucy. "It's actually kind of sad how clueless he is." Mark. "When are you going to let go of the unnecessary burden?" Lucy. "After I figure out how to keep the apartment. His name's on the lease." Tom. "Bro's always been pathetic. Remember in high school when—" I stopped reading. My own brother. My own brother was involved in this, laughing about it, planning it like some twisted form of entertainment. My hands shook as I screenshotted everything. Then I had an idea that made me smile for the first time all night. I logged into Lucy's Instagram account, same password, of course, and started posting the screenshots to her story. All of them. Every dirty message, every cruel joke, every plan they'd made behind my back. Her followers included her boss, her coworkers, her parents, and about half the people who'd been at the club tonight. Then I posted the photos I found buried in her hidden folder. Photos of her and Mark, photos of her and Tom. Photos I really wished I'd never seen. My phone started ringing before I'd even finished. Unknown numbers, Lucy's friends, even her boss, Ms. Jordan, calling at 2 a.m. I let them all go to voicemail and went to bed with a smile on my face. "You'll wish that was all I took," I said to the empty apartment. I woke up to pounding on my door and Lucy's voice screaming my name. It was barely 7 a.m., and she sounded like she was having a complete breakdown. "Jake, open this door right now. You just cost me everything." I made coffee first. Let her pound. Let her scream. The neighbors had heard worse from her over the years. Her drunken rants about my failures, her phone calls with Mark that she thought I couldn't hear through our paper-thin walls. When I finally opened the door, Lucy looked like she'd been hit by a truck. Her makeup was smeared, her hair was a mess, and she was still wearing the same tight dress from the club. Behind her stood Mark, looking significantly less smug than he had a few hours ago. "You son of a bastard," Lucy snarled, pushing past me into the apartment. "My boss fired me. My parents won't answer their phones. Everyone's seen—" "Seen what?" I asked innocently, sipping my coffee. "The truth?" Mark stepped forward, trying to look intimidating. He was taller than me. Lucy had made that abundantly clear. But I'd grown up in this neighborhood. I'd learned to fight before I'd learned to code. "You're going to take all that shit down right now," he said, "or we're going to have a problem." "We already have a problem," I replied. "The problem is you've been with my wife in my apartment while my brother found it amusing. Lucy's face went white. How did you... Poor Jake. I showed her my phone with screenshots of their group chat. Really? That was the best name you could come up with for your little comedy show? She lunged for my phone, but I was ready for it. I stepped back and watched her stumble into the coffee table, knocking over a lamp we'd bought together on our first anniversary. It's too late anyway, I told them both. I've already sent copies to a few people. Insurance, you might say. That was a lie, but they didn't know that. Mark's face was turning red, and Lucy was starting to cry. Real tears this time, not the crocodile tears she used when she wanted something. Jake, please, she said, reaching for me. We can work this out. It was a mistake, all of it. Mark doesn't mean anything to me. Hey, Mark protested. Shut up, Lucy snapped at him. This is your fault. I almost laughed. Even now, even caught red-handed, she was trying to manipulate the situation, trying to play us against each other. Get out, I said quietly. Jake, get out of my apartment, both of you. Mark grabbed Lucy's arm. Come on, this loser isn't worth it. Let's go to my place. Lucy jerked away from him. Your place? You mean your parents' basement? Now I did laugh. Oh, that's rich. The tech entrepreneur lives with Mommy and Daddy? Mark's face turned purple. Forget you both, he said, and stormed out. Lucy looked between me and the door, calculating. I could see her weighing her options, trying to figure out her next move, but she'd shown me who she really was, and I'd learned my lesson. The locks will be changed by tonight, I told her. Get your stuff and get out. She left without another word, but I knew this wasn't over. People like Lucy and Mark didn't just accept defeat and walk away. They plotted, they schemed, they looked for ways to turn the tables. Good thing I was already 3 steps ahead. My phone buzzed with a text from Tom. Dude, what the hell? Lucy's going crazy, calling everyone. I typed back, You made your choice, brother. Live with it. He tried calling, but I blocked his number. Then I blocked Mark's, then Lucy's. I always wanted to trend on Twitter, I muttered, looking at the notifications piling up on Lucy's social media accounts. Just not as beta cuck. But I wasn't done, not even close. By noon, the fallout was spectacular. Lucy's Instagram story had been screenshotted and shared across every social media platform in our city. The local gossip blogs had picked it up. Someone had even made a TikTok compilation set to dramatic music. I was at my shop, pretending to work on a laptop repair, when Steve Martinez walked in. Steve was an old friend from high school who worked as a bouncer at the pit. He was built like a brick wall and had a face that looked like it had been carved from granite, but he was one of the most loyal people I knew. Jesus, Jake, he said, closing the door behind him. You really went nuclear, didn't you? They had it coming. Yeah, I saw everything last night. That was messed up, what she did. He sat down in the chair across from my workbench. But you know they're going to come after you, right? Lucy's been calling everyone we know, trying to turn them against you. Let me guess, I'm the crazy ex who can't handle rejection? Something like that. She's saying you hacked her phone, violated her privacy, posted revenge porn. I looked up from the laptop. Revenge porn? Those pictures of her and Mark, and the ones with your brother. Steve's expression was grim. She's talking about pressing charges. For what? Everything I posted came from her own phone, and those weren't nude photos. They were just intimate. Doesn't matter. She's got people believing you're some kind of psycho stalker. I sat back in my chair, processing this. I'd expected Lucy to be angry, but I hadn't thought about her trying to flip the script completely, making herself the victim and me the villain. There's something else, Steve said. Mark's been asking around about you, trying to find out where you work, where you live, which is ridiculous since he's been with your wife in your apartment, but whatever. The point is, he's planning something. Like what? I don't know, but he was talking to some guys at the club. Rough guys, the kind who solve problems with their fists. I felt a chill run down my spine. I could handle Lucy's social media campaign, but if Mark was recruiting muscle, that was a different story. I can handle myself, I said, but even I didn't believe it. No, you can't, Steve said bluntly. But I can, and I owe you. He was referring to senior year of high school, when I'd helped him avoid expulsion by fixing his grades in the computer system. The statute of limitations had run out on that particular crime, but Steve had never forgotten. What are you proposing? We strike back, strong, make them regret ever messing with you. I should have said no. Should have taken the high road, moved on with my life, let the lawyers sort it out if Lucy really wanted to press charges. But I was angry. Angrier than I'd ever been in my life. And Steve was offering me a chance to do something about it. What did you have in mind? Steve grinned, and for the first time since the club, I felt like maybe I wasn't completely screwed. Mark's got that fancy Tesla, right? The one he's always posting about on Instagram. Yeah, so? So it'd be a real shame if something happened to it. 2 hours later, we were parked outside Mark's parents' house in Steve's old pickup truck. The Tesla was sitting in the driveway like a shiny blue insult, practically inviting trouble. You sure about this? Steve asked. I thought about Lucy on Mark's shoulders, announcing my inadequacy to a room full of strangers. I thought about Tom laughing about it in their group chat. I thought about Mark calling me a loser while he was sleeping in my bed. I'm sure. Steve handed me a bag of sugar and a can of spray paint. Make it count. The sugar went into the gas tank. An old myth, but it would still cause problems. The spray paint went on the hood. Thief in big red letters. Then I keyed both sides. Deep scratches that would cost thousands to repair. But I wasn't done. I pulled out my phone and started recording a video. Hey Mark, I said to the camera. Remember when you said I was pathetic? Let's see how pathetic this is. I smashed both headlights with a tire iron Steve had brought, then kicked in the driver's side mirror for good measure. The car alarm was screaming, but we were already back in the truck and driving away. Feel better? Steve asked. Getting there. My phone buzzed with a call from an unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something made me answer. Jake? It was Lucy, but she sounded different. Scared. What do you want? Mark's going crazy. He knows it was you who trashed his car. He's saying things, threatening things. Not my problem anymore. Jake, please. I know I messed up, but this is getting out of control. He's not who I thought he was. No shit, Lucy. What gave it away? The fact that he lives with his parents, or the fact that he's hiring thugs to beat up your husband? Ex-husband, she said quietly. Not yet, but soon. I hung up and turned to Steve. Change of plans. We're not done with Mark. That night, I got a call from Charlotte Webb, Lucy's best friend and coworker at Sterling Communications. Charlotte was the kind of woman who thrived on drama, always stirring the pot, always in the middle of everyone else's business. Jake, we need to talk. About what? About Lucy, about Mark, about the mess you've created. I almost hung up, but something in her voice stopped me. Charlotte sounded pleased, like she was enjoying this. Meet me at Denny's on 5th Street in an hour, she said. And Jake, come alone. Denny's at midnight was exactly what you'd expect. Fluorescent lights, tired waitresses, and the kind of customers who had nowhere else to be. Charlotte was sitting in a corner booth, nursing a cup of coffee and looking like she'd just won the lottery. You look happy, I said, sliding into the seat across from her. I am happy. Do you know how long I've been waiting for someone to take Lucy down a peg? That surprised me. Charlotte and Lucy had been friends since college, thick as thieves. They worked together, partied together, shared everything. I thought you two were best friends. Charlotte laughed, but it wasn't a pleasant sound. Best friends? Jake, Lucy has been sabotaging me for years. She stole my promotion, she stole my clients, she even stole my boyfriend back in college. So why are you telling me this? Because I want to help you destroy her completely. I leaned back in the booth, studying Charlotte's face. She was pretty in a sharp, predatory way, with blonde hair and green eyes that missed nothing. But there was something cold about her, something calculating. What's the catch? No catch. I just want to watch Lucy burn. She pulled out her phone and showed me a series of text messages. Lucy's been trying to rally everyone against you, but it's not working. People saw what she did at the club. They know she's been cheating. And after your little social media expose, nobody trusts her anymore. The messages were from mutual friends, co-workers, even Lucy's own family. They were all turning against her, one by one. But here's the thing, Charlotte continued. Lucy's not done fighting. She's desperate, and desperate people do stupid things. She's planning something big. Like what? She's going to claim you've been abusing her. Physically, emotionally, financially. She's already started laying the groundwork, telling people you've been controlling, that she was afraid to leave. A domestic violence accusation could ruin my life, even if it was completely false. It would destroy my business, my reputation, everything. That's bullshit. I never laid a hand on her. I know that. You know that. But Lucy's very convincing when she wants to be, and she's got Mark backing her up, plus your brother. Tom would do anything Lucy asked him to. He's been in love with her since the day you introduced them. That hit me like a punch to the gut. I thought back to all the times Tom had been around, all the little comments he'd made about my relationship, all the ways he'd undermined me over the years. So what do you propose? Charlotte smiled, and it was like seeing a shark detect prey in the water. We get to them first, all of them. Lucy, Mark, Tom. We expose their lies before they can tell them. How? She leaned forward, her voice dropping to a whisper. I know things, Jake. Things about all of them. Things that would ruin their lives if they got out. What kind of things? Mark's not really a tech entrepreneur. He's a con artist. His company is just a shell corporation he uses to launder money for some very bad people. Lucy knew about it. She helped him set up the PR campaign to make him look legitimate. And Tom? Your brother's been skimming money from the bar where he works. Small amounts, but it adds up. I have proof. I stared at Charlotte, trying to process what she was telling me. How do you know all this? Because I pay attention, Jake. While Lucy was busy causing trouble and making enemies, I was building a network, gathering information, getting ready for the day I could use it. You're talking about blackmail. I'm talking about justice. We sat in silence for a moment, the weight of her proposal settling between us. She was offering me everything I wanted, complete revenge against the people who had betrayed me. But the price was becoming someone I wasn't sure I wanted to be. Think about it, Charlotte said, standing up and dropping a $5 bill on the table. But don't think too long. Lucy's meeting with a lawyer tomorrow, and once she files those charges, it'll be too late to stop her. She walked away, leaving me alone with my coffee and my conscience. Outside, it started to rain. I didn't sleep that night. I kept thinking about what Charlotte had said, about Lucy's plan to destroy me with false accusations. By morning, I'd made my decision. I called Charlotte at 7 a.m. I'm in. Good. Meet me at the Sterling Communications office at 9. Lucy will be there cleaning out her desk. They officially fired her yesterday. What about security? I still work there, remember? I can get us in. The Sterling Communications building was a glass and steel monument to corporate success, the kind of place that made my little IT shop look like a lemonade stand. Charlotte met me in the lobby, her blonde hair pulled back in a professional bun, wearing a business suit that probably cost more than I made in a month. You ready for this? She asked as we rode the elevator to the 15th floor. As ready as I'll ever be. The office was mostly empty. It was Saturday, and most of the staff was home with their families. Charlotte led me through a maze of cubicles to a conference room with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Lucy should be here any minute, she said, setting up a laptop and projector. I've already uploaded all the evidence to the system. What evidence? Charlotte's smile was predatory. Everything. Mark's financial records, showing how he's been laundering money through fake tech contracts. Tom's bank statements, showing the money he's been stealing. Lucy's emails, showing how she helped Mark set up his fake company. Where did you get all this? I told you, I pay attention. Mark's been using Lucy's computer for his business. She gave him her login credentials because she thought it was romantic. Tom banks at the same credit union as me. I have a friend who works there. And Lucy never met a secret she could keep. The elevator dinged, and we heard voices in the hallway. Charlotte quickly dimmed the lights and started the projector. Showtime, she whispered. Lucy walked in first, carrying a cardboard box of personal items from her desk. She was followed by Mark, who looked like he hadn't slept either, and then Tom, who seemed nervous and kept looking over his shoulder. What's this about, Charlotte? Lucy asked, setting down her box. You said you had information about Jake's harassment campaign? I do, Charlotte said, stepping into the light. But first, I think you should see this. She clicked a button on her laptop, and the projector screen filled with bank records. Mark's bank records, showing deposits and withdrawals that clearly indicated money laundering. What the hell is this? Mark demanded. This is your real business, Mark, the one you've been running through Lucy's PR firm. The next slide showed emails between Lucy and Mark, discussing how to make his consulting fees look legitimate to the IRS. Lucy's face went white. Charlotte, what are you doing? What I should have done years ago, Charlotte replied, exposing you for what you really are. More slides followed. Tom's theft from the bar, Lucy's knowledge of Mark's criminal activities, Mark's connections to organized crime figures. It was a comprehensive destruction of all three of them, laid out in spreadsheets and screenshots and bank statements. You're all going to prison, Charlotte said matter-of-factly. Unless, of course, you agree to leave Jake alone. Tom was the first to crack. I didn't know about any of this money laundering stuff, he said, pointing at Mark. I just thought you were rich. Shut up, Mark snapped, but it was too late. The damage was done. Lucy was staring at the screen, her mouth hanging open. Charlotte, you can't. We're friends. We were never friends, Lucy. You used me, just like you used everyone else. But I'm done being used. I stepped out of the shadows, and all three of them turned to look at me. Lucy gasped. Tom swore. and Mark's hand moved toward his jacket like he was reaching for something. I wouldn't, I said calmly. Charlotte's already sent copies of everything to the FBI, the IRS, and the state attorney general. The only reason you're not in handcuffs right now is because I asked her to give you a chance to do the right thing. What do you want? Mark asked through gritted teeth. I want you to disappear, all of you. Leave town, change your names, start over somewhere else. And if any of you ever try to contact me again, or if Lucy follows through on her plan to file false charges against me, Charlotte releases everything to the media. You can't prove any of this, Lucy said, but her voice was shaking. Actually, we can, Charlotte said. Every document, every email, every bank record, it's all admissible in court. Your only choice is whether you want to face the music publicly or quietly. The room fell silent except for the hum of the air conditioning. Outside, the city stretched out below us. Millions of people going about their Saturday morning routines, oblivious to the drama playing out 15 floors above them. Tom was the first to speak. I'm sorry, Jake. I never meant for it to go this far. Oh, yes, you did, I replied. You enjoyed it. You all did. Mark pulled out his phone and started making a call, probably to a lawyer or maybe to his criminal contacts. But Charlotte was ready for that too. Cell service is blocked in this room, she said. I had IT install a jammer yesterday. Mark's face turned purple with rage. You absolute traitor. He lunged toward Charlotte, but I was ready for him. I caught him with a right cross that sent him sprawling across the conference table, scattering Lucy's personal items across the floor. That's for my wife, I said, rubbing my knuckles. Ex-wife. Lucy was crying now, real tears this time. Jake, please, we can work this out. I'll leave town, I'll disappear, just don't let her destroy me. You destroyed yourself, I said. I'm just making sure everyone knows about it. Charlotte clicked to the final slide, a photo of Lucy and Mark at a hotel, taken through a window with a telephoto lens. They were counting money, lots of it, spread out on a bed. This was taken last month, Charlotte said, right around the time Mark's fake company received a very large consulting fee from a client who doesn't exist. How long have you been planning this? I asked Charlotte. 2 years, she said, ever since Lucy stole the Morrison account from me. I stared at her. The Morrison account? Your IT business. You were going to hire Sterling Communications to handle your marketing, remember? Lucy convinced you that I wasn't qualified and that she should handle it personally. I did remember. It had been Lucy's idea to hire her own firm, and she'd insisted on working with Charlotte because they were friends. But apparently, Lucy had cut Charlotte out of the deal entirely. She cost me a promotion and a $50,000 commission, Charlotte continued. So yes, I've been planning this for a very long time. The pieces were falling into place now. Charlotte hadn't approached me out of the goodness of her heart. She'd been planning her own revenge against Lucy and had simply used me as the catalyst. So, what happens now? Tom asked quietly. Charlotte looked at me, waiting for my decision. I could destroy all 3 of them with a word, send them to prison, ruin their lives completely. Or I could let them walk away and hope they'd learned their lesson. You have 24 hours to leave town, I said finally. All of you. If you're still here on Monday morning, Charlotte releases everything. And if we leave, Lucy asked, then you get to start over somewhere else with the knowledge that if you ever try to hurt me again, the whole world will know what you really are. They left without another word, Tom helping Mark to his feet and Lucy gathering her scattered belongings. The elevator doors closed behind them, and suddenly the conference room was very quiet. Feel better? Charlotte asked. Getting there. But I wasn't done yet. There was still one more thing I needed to do. The Riverside Park Summer Festival was the biggest event of the year in our city, drawing thousands of people for food, music, and community celebration. It was also the perfect place for a very public finale to my revenge story. I'd spent the week since the confrontation at Sterling Communications preparing. Charlotte had kept her word. Lucy, Mark, and Tom had all left town by Sunday night, probably heading for places where their reputations hadn't preceded them, but leaving wasn't enough. I wanted everyone to know why they'd left. The festival's main stage was set up in the center of the park, surrounded by food trucks and carnival games. Local bands played throughout the day, and there was an open mic session every evening where anyone could get up and speak to the crowd. I'd signed up to speak at 8 p.m., right after the mayor's welcome address and just before the fireworks show. Prime time, when the crowd would be at its largest. Steve was waiting for me near the stage, looking nervous. You sure about this, Jake? Once you do this, there's no taking it back. I'm sure. Charlotte was there too, standing off to the side with a tablet in her hands. She'd prepared a slideshow for me, complete with all the evidence we'd gathered. The nuclear option, she called it. Remember, she said, you don't have to use everything, just enough to make your point. The mayor finished his speech to polite applause, and then the MC called my name. I walked up the steps to the stage, my heart pounding, and looked out at the crowd. There had to be 2,000 people there, maybe more. I could see faces I recognized, neighbors, customers from my shop, people from the old neighborhood. Good evening, I said into the microphone, and my voice echoed across the park. My name is Jake Morrison, and I have a story to tell you. The crowd quieted, sensing that this wasn't going to be a typical community address. 3 weeks ago, my wife Lucy humiliated me in front of a room full of people. She climbed onto another man's shoulders and announced that he was better than me in every way. Some of you were there, some of you saw it happen. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. I could see people pulling out their phones, getting ready to record. What you didn't see was what came after. What you didn't know was that Lucy had been cheating on me for months, not just with Mark Fellows, but with my own brother Tom. What you didn't know was that they had a group chat where they laughed about how pathetic I was, how clueless, how easy it was to fool me. The murmurs got louder. I had their attention now. But that's not the worst part, I continued. The worst part is what they were really doing. Mark Fellows isn't a tech entrepreneur. He's a con artist who's been using my wife's PR firm to launder money for criminals. Lucy knew about it. She helped him, and when I found out and tried to expose them, they planned to destroy me with false accusations of domestic violence. Someone in the crowd shouted, "Where are they now?" "Gone," I said. They left town rather than face the consequences of their actions. But before they left, I want you to see who they really were. I gestured to Charlotte, who started the slideshow on a large screen beside the stage. Bank records, emails, photographs, everything we'd shown them in the conference room, now displayed for the entire community to see. The crowd's reaction was immediate and visceral. Gasps, shouts of anger, people calling out Lucy's name in disgust. I saw several people I recognized as her former coworkers, shaking their heads in disbelief. Lucy Morrison stole from her clients, I said, reading from the prepared script Charlotte had given me. Mark Fellows laundered money through fake consulting contracts. Tom Morrison embezzled thousands of dollars from Murphy's Bar, where many of you probably know him as a bartender. The owner of Murphy's Bar was in the crowd, and I could see his face turning red with rage. Tom's theft had probably come out of his pocket directly. They thought they were smarter than everyone else, I continued. They thought they could use people, hurt people, steal from people, and never face any consequences. They were wrong. I paused, looking out at the sea of faces. Some were angry, some were sympathetic, some were just fascinated by the drama, but all of them were listening. I'm not telling you this story because I want your pity, I said. I'm telling you because I want you to remember that actions have consequences, that betrayal has a price, and that sometimes the people you trust the most are the ones who will hurt you the worst. The slideshow had reached its climax. The photo of Lucy and Mark counting money in the hotel room, the evidence of their criminal conspiracy laid out in stark detail. Everybody loves a scandal, I said, echoing the words I'd thought that first night at the pit, especially when it isn't theirs. Tonight, this was their scandal, and I walked away clean. I set down the microphone and walked off the stage to thunderous applause. People were cheering, whistling, shouting my name. It felt like vindication, like justice, like the ending I'd been working toward for 3 long weeks. Charlotte met me at the bottom of the steps, smiling broadly. "How do you feel?" "Like I can finally move on." Steve clapped me on the shoulder. "Drinks are on me tonight, brother." As we walked away from the stage, I could hear people in the crowd talking about Lucy, Mark, and Tom. Their names would be mud in this city for years to come. They'd never be able to come back, never be able to show their faces here again. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. For a moment, I thought it might be Lucy, trying one last manipulation. But when I opened it, I saw it was from a reporter at the local newspaper. "Mr. Morrison, I'd like to interview you about tonight's revelations. When would be convenient?" I deleted the message without responding. I'd said everything I needed to say. The rest was just noise. We walked through the festival, past the food trucks and carnival games, past the families enjoying their Saturday night out. Nobody recognized me yet, but they would soon. By tomorrow, everyone in the city would know my story. "No regrets?" Steve asked as we reached the parking lot. I thought about it for a moment, looking back at the stage where I'd just destroyed 3 people's reputations in front of half the city. A month ago, I would have said it was too much, too cruel, too final. But that was before Lucy climbed onto Mark's shoulders, before I found their group chat, before they planned to destroy me with lies. "No regrets," I said. We got in Steve's truck and drove away from the park, leaving behind the music and laughter and the wreckage of my old life. Tomorrow I'd start building something new, something better, something that was just mine. Behind us, the fireworks began, painting the night sky in brilliant colors that reflected off the lake and lit up the faces of the crowd. It was beautiful, and for the first time in weeks, I felt like I could enjoy beautiful things again. The scandal was over. The revenge was complete, and I was finally free.